It was August 2008, around 11 a.m. in Windendo, North Carolina. I was in one of those moods where I just needed to be alone, away from people. I packed a few things, water, cigarettes, a book, some notebooks, and headed toward a secluded area I'd discovered earlier. North Carolina is full of peaceful spots where you can disappear for a few hours. As I walked between the library and a nearby nursing home, I noticed an old, beat-up sedan trailing behind me. The engine was loud, and the car looked like it had been dragged from a scrapyard. As it passed, the men inside shouted things at me. Sadly, I was used to that kind of attention, so I ignored them and quickly turned into a nearby apartment complex parking lot that led to a wooded gully. I had been there before. It had flat rocks and a cool stream, perfect for escaping the heat. What I didn't expect was that the car followed me. When I dropped out of view, I heard the engine slow and shift into reverse. That's when fear kicked in. I wasn't just being harassed, I was being pursued. I picked up my pace, trying not to run and show panic. When I reached the woods, I clambered down the steep slope, nearly falling in the process. I landed on the rocks below, thinking I'd lost them, until I heard the engine pull up above me. I stood there, tense, refusing to run again. Maybe they'd just misunderstood something, I told myself. But then a door opened, and I heard voices, male, close, searching. I darted into the trees, hiding behind the thick brush, heart pounding. I didn't have my phone on me, left it at home so my mom could use it. They circled the area for a while, engine still rattling, and I crouched there, trying not to breathe too loudly. Eventually, the car pulled away, but I knew they could still spot me if they looped back. So I moved deeper into the ravine, hiding among the rocks for over 2 hours, chain smoking, dehydrated, and too afraid to move. Even when a man above started mowing his lawn, I stayed hidden, too shaken to risk another encounter. Back when I was 15, my best friend Haley and I spent a lot of time at a local bowling alley in our small North Carolina town. Her dad was in a league, so we often met there after school. One night, we couldn't find a table by the lanes, so we went into the lounge area in the back, a dim, half-hidden room most people didn't even know about. That's when I noticed him. A man sitting alone at the bar, mid-20s maybe, nursing a beer and watching TV. He turned and smiled at us, started chatting casually. Then, out of nowhere, he asked how old we were. Haley, ever the chatterbox, told him we were 16 and 15. He asked if we drove. Haley joked that she had a truck and I only had a permit. He laughed and offered to show us his truck. "It's outside," he said. "I'll even take you for a ride if you want." That's when alarms went off in my head. Trying to get away, I told Haley, "Hey, my dad wants me to check in by 9. It was a lie, but I needed an excuse to leave. That's when he said the creepiest thing I've ever heard. "It's not like I'd lock the doors and you'd wake up 8 hours later in another town." He didn't laugh, he didn't blink, just stared at us as he took another sip of beer. Haley grabbed my arm and we walked out fast. I told my dad what happened, and he followed me back to the lounge, but the guy was gone. He'd vanished, leaving only a half-empty bottle of beer behind. This one isn't an urban legend. It really happened. Daphne was a quiet girl at our high school in Charlotte. One winter night, she went to bed like usual, but throughout the night she kept waking up cold. Her blanket kept sliding down to her waist, which never happened before. At first, she thought she was just restless in her sleep. Then, at around 3 a.m., she felt it. Something was tugging at her blanket, slowly. Without moving, she opened her eyes and saw a man standing at the foot of her bed, watching her. She screamed and bolted for her parents' room. The man escaped through the window before they got there. When police searched the room, they found a knife and several beer cans hidden under her bed. He'd been there before, possibly watching her while she slept. Nobody knows for how long, and no one knows how he got in. He was never caught.